a week ago. Last Sunday I was in Hawaii and I was really challenged.
Excuse me, Philip. I just wanted to make sure that it was okay with everyone and that everyone realized that we are recording. Does that work? Philip?
George, could you call some of the North Carolina folks like Kim and Rosa and Rita and find
Rosa's
out where
here
they
and
are?
Mary will be here.
I
Rita
left a
can't be
message for
here.
Deidre.
Yes, Rosa's here now. Mary White is coming. Kim Thomas can't come, and Rita can't come.
Philip, if you don't mind continuing sharing, I just wanted to make sure you were aware that we were recording.
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, thank you. I caught the recording part. No, I was just saying I was in Hawaii last Sunday, and I was really time challenged. The hours are so wacky. I didn't know what day it was or what time it was. So I'm just happy to be back in my 56-degree weather here in San Bruno, California. Hope everyone's doing well.
Hello, the eminent person has arrived. Betty Burks, former president of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. So glad you could make it, Sister Betty Burks.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Philip. Hi, Ms. Burks. Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Shantae.
So what's the count, Shantae?
We are currently at 7 people. I just text message.
I can't hear you, Shantae.
We are currently at 7 people.
I can't hear you.
We are currently at 7 people.
Can you hear me?
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
The count is 7.
Yes. Tawaya is about to join right now.
3 more people and then we can start. And I would say at 4:07, we'll start with the 7 or however many we got. So we don't disrespect people's time.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I can't hear you at all, Shantae. It's weird.
Can anyone else hear me?
I
Can't hear you at all.
And Miss Burks can hear you. She did a thumbs up.
Yeah, I can hear you okay too, Shantae.
Okay, can Teresa hear anyone else? Hi, Tawaya. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much. I got
ask other people if they can hear you. Because if I can't hear you and other people can't hear you.
I can hear Shantae, but can you hear me, Teresa? Shantae, will you send Teresa a text?
That's okay.
That
I was about to.
She can't hear any of us.
Something's very wrong, Shantae. George, would you speak and say something?
Yes, I'm speaking, but you can't hear me, so I'm not going to speak anymore.
George, can you hear me?
Indeed. Oh, let me, maybe you can see us. I don't know if you can see me. Turn on my camera and say, yes, I can hear you.
George is nodding her head that she can hear me, but I don't hear George.
Yes, we can all hear you.
Everyone can hear you. We can all hear you. We can all hear you. I know you got that because you're brilliant.
I don't know what George is saying with those wild motions she makes.
I'm
We
trying.
have 10 people.
Hey, put it in the chat.
Oh, cool. Put it in the chat.
All right. So I'm about to do a share screen. Can everyone see my screen? Yes or no? Yes, okay. So thank you all for joining us today. This is the proposed Black Liberation Caucus agenda. Today's meeting is from 4 to 6 p.m. We are looking to have this meeting last 1 hour. So we're going to share with vigor and intentionality to not hold you up this Sunday afternoon. Okay? So the facilitators today are myself, Shantae McLaughlin, and Teresa Elamine, and we have George Friday as our timekeeper. If you all don't mind, we're going to do brief introductions, 1 minute each person. Do we have anyone here from the Boston group, Boston chapter of WILF? Okay. Do we have anyone from Fresno? San Francisco? Oh, Dr. Jean Kennedy raised your hand. Do you mind unmuting and introducing yourself, Dr. Jean?
Okay, good evening, everybody. It's about 1 o'clock my time here. I'm on the West Coast, and good to hear everyone. I will keep myself on mute because I'm in a busy place, so that way you won't hear any background. So I'll do a lot more listening than talking today. Blessings to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jean. Okay. Next, do we have anyone from San Francisco?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Philip Cole, and I'm calling in from the San Francisco. I'm a member of the San Francisco branch, and I actually reside in San Bruno, California, which is about 10 miles south of San Francisco, and happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. We appreciate you being here as well. Do we have anyone from the Triangle branch?
Hello, I'm Mary White, and I will be representing the Triangle branch. I don't know if there are others here or not. I'm happy to be with you today.
Yes, and I'm Rosa Saavedra. I'm a member in the Triangle branch. Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from the Fannie Lou Hamer branch? Okay, so Teresa Elamine is from Fannie Lou Hamer. She can't hear. Hold on.
My apologies, Shantae, for jumping in there, but I'm George Friday. I represent the Triad branch, and I'll be keeping our time today.
Thank you, George. Hold on. Let me call her on my cell phone and see if I can get her that way. While I'm calling,
I can
you can hear?
hear you now. It was
Okay.
my car phone messing up thing. I can hear you fine now.
Okay, perfect timing. We just introduced the Fannie Lou Hamer branch.
Well, who's on besides me?
You are, and that is it.
Well, I will go ahead. Teresa Elamine, the Fannie Lou Hamer branch is based in Columbus, Georgia, the home of Fort Benning and the School of America's Western Hemispheric Institute for Security Cooperation, SOA. And we formed in March of this year. I'm on the steering committee of the branch, along with Deidre Whittlesey, and we are both the representatives to the Black Liberation Caucus. And Deidre is probably busy. She takes care, she's a caregiver, so she probably couldn't get on today. But I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have the Metro Atlanta branch. Tawaya, can you come off mute? You're driving. So my name is Shantae McLaughlin, and with the support of Teresa Elamine and George Friday, we were able to organize, and we have 28 members of the Atlanta branch, which is a brand new branch. We've been around for about 3 months now. And Tawaya is a member as well. She's driving, so she's just waving on camera. And do we have anyone else on the call? Oh, Betty Burks. Would you like to come off mute?
Hi. Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, Shantae, Betty Burks was president in 1994 of the WILF US, and she lives in either Cambridge or Cape Cod. She's in the Massachusetts area. So she's not in the Metro Atlanta branch.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. So the next roll call is the at-large members who are not in this branch. So thank you. That would be you, Betty Burks. I appreciate you. So next, we have approve agenda as the next order of business. Does anyone, would anyone like to propose to approve the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Anyone second?
And remember, Shantae, we agreed to do everything by consensus. So the question is, are there any objections to the agenda? And if there are no objections, no blocking concerns, we've reached consensus on the agenda. So that's the question to ask.
All right, well, I think we do have an objection. We have Felina Farley, who's at large from Ohio, that I did not introduce. My apologies, Felina. Would you please come off mute and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm a new member. I joined after the last meeting I went to. So yeah, I'm a new member and I'm in Ohio, so I don't think there's a branch here.
Okay.
Oh, what city in Ohio?
Columbus, the state capital.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, Columbus, Ohio. Oh yeah, I know it well. Very backward place, if you don't mind me saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do know people in Columbus, Ohio, because I lived in Cleveland for many years. So let's talk about the folks you could pull together to make the branch in Columbus. It's just a matter of a short time because Ohio State is still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know people associated with that, and they would be likely to join.
Okay.
All right. So now, can we make a motion to approve the agenda? Or
I was trying to second it, but my mic was, I was muted. So I can second that if you like, and you can just go proceed.
Yes, because there are no objections, Shantae. So let's move the agenda. What's the next item on the agenda, Shantae?
The next item on the agenda are the meeting dates and facilitation. So what that conversation looks like is currently this meeting is being hosted or facilitated by the Fannie Lou Hamer branch and the Metro Atlanta branch. What we are proposing, which may need to be tabled because I don't see any members from some of these locations, but Boston, for August, Fresno and San Francisco for September, the Triangle Branch for October, and the Triad for November, as far as facilitating the next meetings moving forward.
Stack,
All right.
stack.
Yes.
Since the Boston folks are not here, if Dr. Jean Kennedy is willing, we can move the Fresno branch up to August next month, and then subsequently move the other branches up and see if we could get through the end of the year. The proposal was to have the meeting scheduled for August, September, October, November, and December. August is kind of tricky because the triannual is happening. But my proposal, Dr. Jean Kennedy, is that we do the meeting at the end of August, which would be the last Sunday. So if we could kind of stick with the schedule of the last Sunday of the month, that way it'll be real easy for people, because we could do an evaluation of the Congress. I believe the last Sunday in August is August 29th. Does that work for you, Dr. Jean Kennedy?
Yes, I think I heard most of what you were saying. I had you on mute. I mean, background noise. It sounds to me like you were saying you wanted to have the meeting at the end of the month in August. Then that way it wouldn't clash with the Congress. Did I hear you correctly?
No, I'm saying that we should choose the last Sunday of the month for our regular meetings, like we did the last Sunday in June. And I think we're doing the last Sunday in July by having the meeting today. So the last Sunday in August would be August 29th. And we want the Fresno branch to facilitate. So you would be the person facilitating.
Oh, okay. Can I temporarily say yes then? Because I don't have my calendar in front of me to see it. This is my traveling time. But let me commit myself to that then. Yes, I'll commit myself to that. And if something comes up where I have no control over, I will call you way ahead of time, if that would be okay with you, sister.
It sounds wonderful. I am so glad for us to be reconnected after all those phone calls we were making back and forth when you were in Atlanta. So this is wonderful. So Shantae, what's the next branch that we had listed in the rotation?
The Triangle Branch.
Well, that would be Rosa Saavedra and Mary White. So if they're willing to accept the September date, and both of them are on the call, and so people could look at their calendar and see what the last Sunday in September is to make sure there's no conflict. So the last Sunday looks to be the 26th of September. And now is the time to speak, Rosa and Mary.
Rosa?
Hello?
Rosa, Mary, do you mind coming off mute? And Felina, I don't know if you can see this in your chat or not, Teresa. She says she's good with last Sundays, but October, last Sunday is Halloween. So we may want to consider scheduling that one for the 24th of October for that month.
This is
Sounds like, oh, Mary?
This is Mary White. I have no objections. My calendar seems to be free at this time, as long as Rosa will agree to do the leading.
My calendar is open at this time, and Mary, if you want, we can talk about what you want me to do that maybe we could do together.
We'll talk, okay?
Okay. Okay. My calendar is open.
Wonderful.
Are we looking
So
at
let's
October?
go- Yes, October 24th. I agree with Felina's suggestion. You know, there's a lot of parties and people are taking their children out. And the 24th of October looks good on my calendar. So who's next in the rotation, Shantae?
The Triad.
George.
That means I have October 24th.
No, you would be
Yes.
in, no, she
No?
would be in November because Boston's not represented here. So all of those months move down. Fresno is representing August. The Triangle is September. And the Triad would be November.
No, what's wrong with October?
The Triangle's already taken October.
Oh, no, they took September 26th, I thought.
Oh, my apologies. I have that wrong.
So the Triad has October, and you'll find someone to co-facilitate with you, right, George?
Absolutely.
My
So
apologies.
October, that's okay. October is set.
Yes.
So let's go to November. Who's next in the rotation?
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Oh, November.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's right, because we did a kind of unique thing this time with the two branches doing it. So November 28th is the last Sunday. That's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It doesn't bother me if everybody is going to be available and not traveling. I'm okay with the 28th because all my family is deceased. We used to have big Thanksgiving when my mother was alive, but now I eat alone. So the 28th works for me. Is that good for everyone else's schedule to do 4 to 6 on November 28th? I'm sure that Deidre, and we have some other Black members who are alternates to the steering committee, but Deidre and I are the main reps. So I'm pretty sure she will be available since she does caregiving, and I doubt if she'll be traveling. So let's, what say you all? Is November 28th okay?
Yes.
No objection.
Good.
Okay. Well, Fannie Lou Hamer branch will take November 28th. So we have one last month, kind of tricky, December, when we'll be in the midst of Kwanzaa probably. So let's see. The last Sunday is actually Umoja, the first day of Kwanzaa. And so we have something planned with the Umoja Unity Talks, which would be on that date. So I would ask that we move December up to the 19th. So we do it before Christmas and before Kwanzaa, if there are no objections. What's the next branch in the rotation after Fannie Lou Hamer?
Metro Atlanta.
Well, that's on you. So
Yes.
what do you think?
Yes. I
Moving it
propose
to
this.
the 19th.
Yes, I agree with moving it to December 19th.
And there are plenty of sisters to help facilitate with you. So it looks like we've gotten a schedule to the end of the year with a branch rotation. And then we'll start in January looking at Boston and any other new folks that come online. San Francisco is here. And what other branches are represented here who did not get in this rotation?
Ohio.
Ohio is not a branch.
Oh, yeah, she's an at-large member. The ones that did not get in the rotation were Boston and San Francisco, but San Francisco would in turn partner with Fresno.
Zach,
Yes, George.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm also pleased to interrupt. Earlier today, we had a WILF triannual conference Zoom. And on that was, and I'm not going to say her name correctly, please apologize. You can take yourself off mute and do this. Ayo Ayula Amale from West Ghana, who I met on the call. We communicated, I gave her the Zoom, and she's here. It's after 8 o'clock, I think, where Ayo is, but would you introduce yourself, please?
Everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, Ayola Mali. Ayola Mali here, please. Can
Good
you
to
hear
have
me?
you. Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you just fine. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Well, since we are
Thank you,
going deep
George.
into the continent, stack, I met a nurse practitioner from the DRC on Saturday, and she did not know about the Women's International League for Freedom. So I took her to the international site, and she saw all those African countries. So hopefully she'll be joining the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. Her name is Mwingi, Mwingi, last name Lomami, Lomami, Lomami. And she's a nurse practitioner at the hospital that's been harming me, that some of you have been reading about. But she was so kind and so good. And I hope she'll join the Fannie Lou Hamer branch so we can kick AFRICOM out of Africa and do all the things that we want to do as a Black Liberation Caucus.
Yeah,
So
I would like to say one or
George.
two things, please.
Who is that?
That's
Ayo.
Ayo. I'm calling in from Accra in Ghana. I'm Nigerian, but I'm currently in Accra. And I'm also a member of Wealth. I just heard you say something about Wealth. I'm the president of Wealth in Ghana. Just to let you know that I'm the family from the family of Wealth.
We are so honored. A
Yeah,
president of a
here.
section. Oh, we're honored to have you president of the Ghana section. This will be a great report. So I'm glad we're recording it. So when we write up the report for the newsletter.
I would love to say that I'm really happy to be here because the issue of the Black race touches my heart deeply. So when I heard George say something about this meeting, I said I just have to join in. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, you have internationalized our meeting. Shante,
Yes,
can we
ma'am.
move the agenda? Because I think we may be able to do the meeting in an hour today, which we love the 1 hour meeting in the Southern Anti-Racism Network. So let's make it happen. What's
Yes,
next on the
ma'am.
agenda?
So next, we will look at who will be the representatives from each branch. We're looking at a steering committee here in Atlanta, but in each branch membership, and this isn't just the branches represented, we have to hold every branch of Wealth to account for having 2 people of color as representatives for each branch for their steering committee. Okay. Next, after that, the Black Liberation Caucus.
Well, hold on,
Okay.
because we need to say where we are with that. So we have that in the triangle. We have that in the triad. We have that in the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. I think it's possible to have that in Boston based on who I know is in the Boston branch. Several Black women in Fresno, Dr. Jean Kennedy, who's been a member for a very long time. If I remember correctly, she told me she's the only Black person in the Fresno branch, which is a very active branch. And we really need to increase the number of people of color and Black women in particular in Fresno. In San Francisco, Philip is the only Black member. And so, Philip, you did say at some point that you thought you had someone else who was going to join, a Black woman. Can you say more about that?
Actually, it was Asian women. I still haven't been able to make any contact with any Black women on this side of the Bay. My time is very limited and I don't get out much, but I will continue my efforts. And I have requested some brochures to introduce people to Wolf, because I think that's the best way for a male to approach females in this instance.
Well, they send them out by the hundreds. I got plenty of brochures. You just contact either Jan Quarterman or the staff person, Chris Welbeck, and she's very good about mailing out lots of good stuff. So do that as soon as you can. So you'll have the Join Wealth Today brochures. That's what I use to recruit and build the branch here in Columbus. So we had a new member to join just the other day. So we're at 14 in terms of our branch here in Columbus, the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. So I love recruiting. And so we're gonna build it, as they say, one by one, but I say branch by branch, we build it. So Felina can start her branch in Ohio. We have another potential branch happening in the South Carolina area. George, can you give a report on what's happening with the Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Twig?
Yes. We have two folks working on that. One is Professor Jennifer Disney, who couldn't be on today. Well, she wouldn't be on, she's a person of European descent, but she's outreach to over a dozen people who could join. They haven't joined yet. She's working on them. And Danielle Redmond is the representative who we expect to be on the Black Liberation Caucus. She had family issues today, but she understands that they need to identify at least another person of color or Black person to be the representative for their branch as they build. They need their 10 members to be a branch. As Teresa said, they're at this moment still a twig.
And George, in terms of the triad, Kim Thomas and those dynamic women that were on, and I'm so ashamed that I have Brenda Hines' check, which I've had for many months. So I'll probably mail it back to her and see if she's willing to go online and join. But she would be in the triad, being in Burlington. And so let's work on tightening up the triad and looking at the possibility of a Charlotte breakoff. And we'll talk about it on August 16th when we have the Wilf Carolinas meeting. The one thing I would say to everybody is that the Southern Anti-Racism Network is a nonprofit that was founded in 1998. And we're actually the sponsoring organization for the new branches in the South. And we're willing to, I think the board is certainly willing to open bank accounts for the Triad, Metro Atlanta, and certainly the Fannie Lou Hamer branches. And as we grow, because our jurisdiction is North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. So any branches that are newly formed in those 4 states, we would be willing to allow our 501c3 to get a bank account for the new branches, as long as there are 2 responsible people to be signers from the steering committee or the leadership. And we would trust that everything would be okay. We got a very good CPA who's really kind of tight about looking at stuff. So I think I'll talk to him and see what he thinks about these multiple accounts under our name. But that's what we're willing to do because the board already voted $100 to open the Fannie Lou Hamer account. And I've just been too busy to get around to it. But the Southern Anti-Racism Network is a sponsoring organization for branches that are formed in the 4 states of our jurisdiction. Sorry, Shante, to be going on with that bit of information, but what's next on the agenda?
Next is actually your portion about the Black Liberation Caucus slate for open national board seats. What you wanted to share?
Well, there are 6 national board seats open. It is really quite the scandal, in my opinion, that there's a potential for 11 or 12 board members. That's the size of the board, but the board has not been more than 6 members, I understand, for many years. I plan to run for one of the 2 program committee chair seats. There's a development committee chair seat open. There's a personnel committee chair seat open, and the at-large seat, which is now held by Nancy Price, that will come open this year. We have to all declare by October 18th that we're running. I've already let Martha, who is based in Milwaukee, and she's actually on the nominating committee. Laura Dewey is the, what she calls herself, the interim chair of the nominating committee. So I've spoken with her extensively, and she understands that I am running. So the people who would be eligible to run are the people who have been members for 24 months or longer. So that's me, Dr. Jean Kennedy, Philip Cole, and certainly Julie from Boston. But I'm not sure who else has been a member that long. If you have, could you speak up? Well, hearing none, then let's find out from Dr. Jean Kennedy and Philip Cole if they're interested in running, so we could actually form a slate. And of course, we got until through the September meeting to actually form the slate. And as we build the Black Liberation Caucus, we'll discover more people who actually are eligible to run. Dr. Jean Kennedy, are you interested in one of the national board seats? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, hello? I'm sorry, I've got myself on mute because I'm traveling. Can I get back to you on that information?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, let's ask Philip.
Yeah, thank you.
Philip, I heard you
I-
wanted to run for the at-large seat, Philip.
Yeah, I have discussed the at-large seat, and I'm willing to be part of the slate for the at-large seat, just to, fill in the blank. And since I'm qualified, I'll be happy to do it. And I think I'll have enough guidance and experience to represent. Thank you.
Well, the key thing is votes. Like I explained to our current president, us recruiting all these new people in the branches amounts to votes. So we recruited approximately 50 people over the past 7 months. And so we have the votes in the branches in the South to carry the day. So one of my expertise, to lack of a better description, was building campaigns as a union organizer and winning the vote to beat the bosses and win the union drive. So I have given this plenty of thought, and I have been counting the votes based on the number of members in our branches in the South. And so it's like, as the South goes, so goes the nation. And because I think there are enough reliable allies spread out around the country, they've certainly been encouraging me from Portland and Seattle to all over the country, Philadelphia, saying definitely run and we'll support you. So that's what we all have to do. But forming a slate makes it really stronger, because people will say, we're voting for the Black Liberation Caucus slate. And we would like to introduce the idea, at least I would, when we speak at the Congress on August 21st. And that's probably a good segue into the conference workshop, which George Friday is in charge of. Is that next on the agenda, Shante?
Next on the agenda is the BOPA, Basis of Political Agreement.
Oh, well, that's also George. So
Yes.
George, can you put that on the screen so that we can remind ourselves what we agreed to work on?
George, I'm stopping this screen share now, and I made you co-host.
So you can see here our basis of political agreement. We first spoke about it at our first meeting on June 27th. On May 22nd. and then refine this. We added in our meeting last month on June 27th, we added some items under areas of work. Are there any questions?
George, why don't you read out all the areas of work? Because
Sure.
I'm practically on my phone, so I can't see the screen.
Okay. There are 9 areas of work that are identified by the Black Liberation Caucus. Reparations, free all political prisoners, criminal justice reform, end mass incarceration, ending voter suppression, free Palestine solidarity, anti-racist transformation of WILF US, solidarity with other oppressed peoples of color, universal health care for all, Medicare for all, immigrant justice. Those are the areas of work.
Yeah, I think it was phrased as immigration justice.
What did I say? I thought I said that.
You said immigrant.
Oh, my goodness. Immigration justice is how it's worded here.
So that is what we agreed to. And of course, at every meeting, there's an opportunity to add or delete. And so what we wanted to do at this point is ask different branches what they thought they would work on. And I know that in the Fannie Lou Hamer, we're committed to the criminal justice reform and to ending voter suppression, because they have gone crazy in Georgia trying to suppress our vote, trying to suppress the Black vote. So I know for the next year, because the big elections in 2022, where the governor is up and the incomparable Stacey Abrams may be running for governor again. So we're fighting voter suppression in Georgia. So the Fannie Lou Hamer branch is going to take on criminal justice reform and voter suppression. We actually have a Zoom conference proposed for October that we're trying to put together. We did one last October as the Southern Anti-Racism Network, but this will be a joint effort with the Fannie Lou Hamer branch and the Southern Anti-Racism Network based in Columbus. Are there others who have ideas about what they want to work on in their branches, in the Triangle, in the Triad, in Fresno, San Francisco, et cetera? And to be clear, this is to involve your whole branch, all the people of European descent, as well as allies, to be working with the Black Liberation Caucus on these issues we've identified. That was the concept, that your whole branch, so it means going back, talking to your whole branch. If, for instance, Mary and Rosa decide they want to work on the healthcare piece and immigration justice, then they would get all of those eminent persons in the Triangle branch, which is an over 80-year-old branch. And so folks who are in the branch, many of them have been in it for many decades. I know there's several half a century members in the Triangle branch. So what say you, Rosa and Mary, in terms of your interests? Hello.
Rosa?
Yeah, I think that the healthcare and the criminal justice would be good for us. I think Mary is in agreement. What do you say, Mary?
That's fine with me. Thank you.
Well, we're recording this. So any other branches? Fresno, do you have a preference? The transformation of WILF into an anti-racist organization was presented by Philip Cole. So I'd like to think that he could encourage all of the other members in the branch to be a part of that. I know that Barbara Nielsen would be a good ally with that. She and I have talked about it a lot. So Philip, what say you?
Gotta unmute myself here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, because that's the item that you proposed, Philip. I remember very distinctly that you proposed that item.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to unmute myself.
You're off
You
mute.
are unmuted. We hear you very well.
Okay.
What's wrong? Don't be
Okay.
timid now, Philip. Stand
Yes,
strong, Philip.
yes, I am willing to work on that project. It will be akin to trying to work on transformation of the Ku Klux Klan. It's a tall order,
Oh, come on.
but somebody has to do it. So I will try.
Well
Because
done.
you know, so I will work with it, and I will be using the assistance of Barbara Nielsen to help out. Thank you.
George
Philip
Stack.
has a really interesting sense of humor, and people need to appreciate that because he's quite funny. I'm sorry, George. Go ahead.
Two things. One, the Triad branch will definitely work on universal health care for all and Medicare for all. And to what extent I can, Philip, I want to get your back around anti-racist transformation of wealth. Y'all will hear more when we talk about our conference panel discussion. Second thing is,
Excuse me, George. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Felina has her hand raised. She's had it raised for a while.
Lena raised her hand. That was my other thing. I'm
My
done.
apologies.
Hi, so, wait. For voter suppression, I'm already involved in the Rank the Vote Ohio org to
What did you say?
rank.
In about 20 minutes.
Okay, the ranked choice voting in Ohio. I'm already part of a statewide organization trying to get it back in Ohio, and but I'm the only Black woman in the org right now, and there's a lot of history of Ohio used to have ranked choice voting, and there is historical documentation of Black women winning elections when we had ranked choice voting in Ohio in the 1800s.
Oh, Shantae,
Yes, ma'am.
a warning. I think my phone is dying. So if I should go away, it's because I've lost power.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the, thank you. Thank you, Felina. George, would you like to, so we're going to complete this meeting with expediency. So George, it's back to you.
Okay, it's back to me to talk about the 34th triennial.
Yes.
Very good, and I will try to do it very quickly, but not rushed.
Right.
I've put in the chat the schedule. Our 45-minute panel discussion workshop, Building the Black Liberation Caucus, will be on Saturday, August 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern. The schedule for the whole triennial is there. The triennial will have one Zoom link only the whole time. Both weekends, 24, whenever. So that Zoom link that you have, if you've registered, will be good for the entire conference. What are the other key things I wanted to share with you? You can check the schedule out to know exactly what's going on. There are going to be a number of different panels and hours, and I do want to share screen and just highlight a little bit about what we put in our proposal. At today's meeting, one of the things that I found out that wasn't a huge surprise was, guess what? Everyone who's doing a workshop or a panel didn't submit a proposal that needed to be approved. Isn't that interesting? So here's our description. I'm going to make it the biggest part. The organizers of the caucus, that's myself, Shantae, and Teresa. This is an open session to talk about why the caucus was formed. Teresa's going to begin our panel discussion talking for about 5 minutes about why the caucus was formed, what was the inspiration of the caucus, and in that, some of the history about WILF US that is also one of the inspirations for the caucus, and also forming the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. Then Shantae will go for 5 minutes talking about forming the Atlanta branch. I will bring up the rear as it is, talking about the caucus itself, sharing our basis of political agreement, and including all of our areas of work. I'll also talk about, and will be in my 5 minutes, I'm going to share something else that I don't think everyone has seen. Where is it?
Oh, by the way, George, I thought we finally agreed that we would do 7 minutes each.
Sounds good.
If we can finish in 5, great. But I think I'll need my whole 7.
I may too, especially given how I've been thinking about it and forming it up. So I'm about to share with y'all, although it's hard to find it. So confused. Oh, here we go. Thank you for your patience, y'all. I can see this stuff. Oh, there it is. Yay. Sorry that I had a hard time here. So one of the very vital reasons that the Black Liberation Caucus has to exist is because of how deeply entrenched white supremacy is within WILF US. I know you're shocked. Such a surprise. So for over half my life, I'll be 61 in August, I have done anti-racism, anti-oppression training. I like to call it community building because I'd rather build something than just destroy something. But this continuum is a basis for assessing. So where is an organization or an institution when it comes to being completely anti-racist, which on this spectrum is a 6. All the way
George,
yes.
Please, if you could hold off on doing that, because we don't need to do the workshop. But
no, I've got
no,
15
no,
seconds.
George, no. We missed saying that Rosa Saavedra is a moderator.
Yes, I didn't miss that yet. I just wasn't done, but that's okay. On this thing, which I'll stop sharing now, WILF is not even a 2 out of 6. And most groups are a 3. They want to be a 4 or a 5. I don't know any 5s. And WILF, after 100 and something years, is not even a 2.
Wow.
So it's scary. And having our numbers and our power puts us in a place where it's not so scary. And I'm just speaking for me. Because I'm a Leo, I'm not that scared of anything, really. All right, then I'll shut up now.
Yes.
All right.
Questions?
So
We have one.
Rosa, we need to hear from her about her plans for the moderation.
Well, my plans for the moderation are that there are some questions that we had talked about. I think that we're going to talk again about the questions, and I will ask those questions and make sure that folks are able to answer the questions that come up.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Shantae.
All
Are
right.
you recognizing somebody?
No, I was going to our last order of business, which is the December event. I'm pulling it up now.
Oh, well, glad you brought that up because Shantae and I visit the potential site for a national conference around Human Rights Day because the new Advancing Human Rights Committee is just starting up. As a matter of fact, there's a meeting the 29th. And I wish that we would all try to join it. But advancing human rights is like the centerpiece of what we're trying to do as a caucus. And so, but this will be a national, multinational meeting where everyone will be invited. The anticipation is that there would be 50 people representing branches from around the country. And I know that all of the officers will probably want to come because they'll be very curious. And by that time, the new board members will be elected with plans to take office in January. So it'll be a good kind of meet and greet event. And the way it would be funded is through a mini grant. And the mini grants are due October 1. So the Fannie Lou Hamer branch will apply on behalf of the Black Liberation Caucus for $2,500. Now, the Southern Anti-Racism Network will also raise money to help to fund it. The hotel is very nice. It's got lots of roomy rooms. I stayed there a week ago, and I want to stay back in that same room I had. And they have 2 nice meeting rooms. And the other thing is that they have free hot breakfast, so we could cut down on the cost because breakfast would be supplied, and we would simply supply lunch, and then people can do dinner on their own, DoorDash or whatever. But that's a budget that I hope to be able to submit next month as part of the agenda of Dr. Jean Kennedy, so we can make a decision about doing it, because every branch can apply for a mini grant. And so all of you can also apply in order to come to Atlanta, because you would fly into the Atlanta airport and then you would shuttle into Roswell, Georgia, which is part of the metro Atlanta area. And there are plenty of shuttles to get you to the hotel. So that's the proposal for December 10th and 11th, Human Rights Day. The Wilf U.S. Black Liberation Caucus sponsored Human Rights Conference in the Atlanta area. That's the proposal, comrades and friends. So can we have some discussion, please?
So before discussion, I also want to acknowledge that Alice Fagans and Adrian Brunel from the Atlanta Metro branch.
Oh, she joined. She joined.
Alice and Adrian both are on the call.
Oh, wonderful. Adrian. Oh, great, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. So let's open up the floor for discussion because we're right at 5 o'clock. And so it would be great to end the meeting soon, since we know when our next meeting is. We know who's facilitating. So everybody, do you need to hear more? Is that why people are so quiet?
Did anyone want further dialogue or? Teresa, it looks like everyone's quiet.
Well, you know, I take silence as consent, but let's see in August, at the August, did we say August 26th?
29th.
Oh yeah, it's the 29th, because August 26th is a very important Women's Day date. I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it is. But we're doing ours on August 29th. Well, motion to adjourn, co-facilitator. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Can I get a second? Twice nodding her head. Are you seconding?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. This meeting has been adjourned. The next meeting will be on August the 29th. Thank you all for a great meeting and for your time tonight.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, end the
George?
meeting for everyone, George.
I'm ending the meeting. George is gone. I'm stopping the recording now, and I'm gonna send it to George.
Great to
send
meet
out.
you. Great to meet you, Shantae. I think you did a great job of leading this meeting.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh,
Thank
and
you.
Shantae is running for city council at large in East Point, Georgia. And the election is in November this year. So wish her well.
Thank you.